So, good day, my dear students. Before we start the class, I would like to ask, how are you?
Okay,
Good,
sir.
sir.
Okay, that's good to know. It's always a good thing to start the class knowing that my students are in good shape. Okay, now, this time I will play an audio recording. This recording contains three sentences, and what I want you to do is to identify if the first, if the second, and if the third sentence is describing an event or feelings depending on what you can hear. Okay, I will play the audio recording two times only, and then after that, I will ask you what have you or what do you think. Okay, it's just a short recording. I will play it now. Number one. My sister is singing Itsy Bitsy Spider. Number two. Daniel's dog smells awful. Number three. Our friend is baking a delicious cake. Okay, I'll play it again. Number one. My sister is singing Itsy Bitsy Spider. Number two. Daniel's dog smells awful. Number three. Our friend is baking a delicious cake. Okay, so are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Who'd like to go first? Is there any volunteer? Okay, Miss Tejada.
Number one is describing an action, sir.
So number one is describing an action or event. How about, or yes, thank you, Miss Tejada, for that. How about the number two? Yes, Miss Santos.
Number two, sir, describes a feeling, sir.
Feeling. Okay. Thank you, Miss Santos. And how about the number three? Yes, Miss Tejada again.
Same in number one, sir. It's also describing an action.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Tejada. Action or event. So, I would like to ask the both of you, for the both of you, is this the correct answers, or are these the correct answers? Do you think these answers are the correct one?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. And you are correct. Now let's proceed. I will play again another audio recording, and this audio recording contains sentences, five sentences, and what I want you to do is to categorize the verbs that you will hear in these sentences based on whether they are describing an event or feelings, just like what we did earlier. Okay? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I will give you 2 minutes to think of your answers. I will play the recording twice, and then later I'll ask you what you have observed. Okay? This is the recording. Number one, Michael throws the spear. Number two, I have a big bike inside our house. Number three, Monica really hates spiders. Number four, Sophia is drinking a lemonade. Number five, his voice sounds terrible. Okay, I'll repeat it again. Number one, Michael throws the spear. Number two, I have a big bike inside our house. Number three, Monica really hates spiders. Number 4. Sophia is drinking a lemonade. Number 5. His voice sounds terrible. Okay, now I'll give you your 2 minutes to think whether these verbs are under the event or the feelings column. Okay, your 2 minutes start now. Okay, are you finished? Okay, now who would like to answer? Who would like to go first? Yes, Miss Santos.
Um, the verb in the first sentence, sir, is rose, and it is under the event column.
Okay,
Then
next.
for the second sentence, sir, the verb is have, which is under the feelings.
Have. Okay,
As for the third sentence, sir, the verb is hates, which is also under the feelings column, sir.
under the feelings as well. Okay,
While in the fourth sentence, sir, the verb is drinking, which is under the
drinking.
event column. Po.
Okay,
And for the last sentence, sir, the verb is sounds, which is under the feelings column. Po.
sound under the feeling. Okay. Thank you, Miss Santos, for answering. Now I would like to ask Miss Tejada, are your answers similar with the answers of Miss Santos?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can we hear your answers?
Okay, sir. Like Miss Santos answer, sir, the verb in the first sentence is throws, and it's under the event column. Then in second sentence, the verb is have, which is under the feeling column. And then as the third sentence, the verb is hate, which is also under the feelings column. And then for the fourth, the verb is drinking, which is under the event column. And lastly, the verb is sound, which is under the feelings column. That's my answer,
Thank
sir.
you, Miss Tejada. Thank you, Miss Tejada. So both of your answers are the same. Let's see if your answers are similar to mine. Let's see. So yes, just like what you have said, the both of you, these answers the verb throws and drinking are under the event column. The verb have, hates, and sounds are also under the feelings column. Well done, my students. Now, I will play again another recording audio, and this time we have some people here doing something. And this time, what I want you to do is to identify the person, or in this case, the subject, name that person, and categorize what they are doing. Are they doing something that is considered under the action verb, or are they doing something that is under the state verb? So I will play the recording twice, and I will give you 2 minutes to analyze or to think of the answers. Okay, understood? Okay, okay. I will play the recording now. Number one, Danica is playing a Barbie doll. Number two, Bernard likes the food. Number three, Hazel walks every morning. Number four, Abigail wants a new tablet. Number five, Franz dislikes going to parties. I'll play it again. Number one, Danica is playing a Barbie doll. Number two, Bernard likes the food. Number three, Hazel walks every morning. Number four, Abigail wants a new tablet. Number five, Franz dislikes going to parties. Okay, I will now give you your 2 minutes to think of the answers, to identify the person, to identify which under category or category those verbs are. Your 2 minutes start now. Okay, do you have your answers with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so who would like to answer this one? Yes, Mr. Hada.
Okay, sir. For the first sentence, the name of the person is Danica, and she is playing a Barbie doll. The verb in the sentence is playing, which is under the action column. Then for the second sentence,
Okay, for the second sentence.
okay, sir. For the second sentence, the persona is Bernard, and he likes the food. The verb is likes, and it's under the state column.
Okay. How about for the third one?
Okay. As for the third sentence, the name of the person is Hazel, and she ran across the farm. The verb is ran, which is under the action column.
How about for the fourth one?
For the fourth sentence, sir, we have Abigail as the person and she wants a new tablet. The verb is wants and it's under the state verb column.
And for the last one?
For the last one, sir, the person's name is Franz and he dislikes going to parties. The verb is dislikes and is under the state verb column as well.
Okay. Let me just change the size of these words so that you can see them clearly. Okay. Thank you for that, Mr. Hada. Now, Ms. Santos, are your answers the same as that of Ms. Tejada? Yes. Can you please elaborate your answers?
Yes, sir. My answers are also similar with Miss Tejada's. For the fourth sentence, sir, the person is Danica, and the verb in the sentence, sir, is playing, which is an action. And for the second sentence, sir, is the person is Bert, and the verb is like, which is the state column, sir. And the third sentence, sir, the subject is Hazel, and the action, and the verb is ran, which is an action. While in the fourth one, sir, the subject is Abigail, and the verb is once, which is under the state column, sir. And for the last one, sir, France is the subject, and the verb is dislike, and it is under the state column po.
Well done. The both of you, well done, Ms. Tejada and Ms. Santos. Your answers are correct. Now, moving on. I have here a list of sentence or a list of words rather. These are actually verbs. And what I want you to do is to identify whether these verbs are under the continuous or rather under action or state verbs. Okay? So you just you're just going to categorize these verbs, these words under these columns uh, regarding if it is an action or state verb. Okay? I will give you 2 minutes for that. Your 2 minutes start now. Okay, time's up. Now, I want to hear your answers. Who would like to volunteer and answer this one? Okay, who would like to go first? Okay, Miss Santos. Yes, Miss Santos. Santos.
So the first and the second verb, sir, should be under the action column po. While the third and the fourth one should be under the state column. While the last verb is under the action column as well, sir.
Okay. Let's see. What is the first verb? It is seeing, and the second one is tasting, which are under, again, what column, Miss Andrea? Is it the action or
Action,
state?
sir.
It's the action. And for the third and fourth sentence, they are under the state column. Oh, the form is different. And for the fifth verb, you said that it is under the action column. Thank you, Miss Santos, for your answers. And I would like to ask Miss Tejada, are your answers similar to the answer of Miss Santos?
Yes, sir.
Can you please elaborate?
Okay, sir. The verbs seeing and tasting is under in the action column, sir. And love and feel is under state in the state column. And lastly, the verb measuring is under action column.
Okay. Thank you for that, Miss Tejada. Both of your answers are correct. Okay. Moving on. Here in the next slide, I have four sentences. As you can see on the screen, I have four sentences I have four sentences here, and I want you to observe them and tell me what have you observed. Okay, I'll give you again 2 minutes for that for your observation, and then later I'll ask you about it. Your 2 minutes start now. Okay, time's up. Now, who would like to go first and give me her observation? Anyone? Yes, Ms. Tejada.
Okay, sir. The first sentence, uses an action verb, while the second sentence simply uses a state verb.
Hmm, good observation. Can you please tell me what is the verb in the first sentence and as well as in the second sentence, Ms. Tejada?
Okay, sir. In the first sentence, sir, the verb is washing, and in the second sentence, the verb is needs.
Okay, good, Ms. Tejada. Thank you. How about you, Miss Santos? Hello, yes, Miss
For
Santos.
the third sentence, sir, the verb is thinking, sir, and it is a state verb po. While in the fourth one, sir, the verb is sounding, which is also a state verb po.
Okay. Did you notice any difference between the verb in the third sentence and in the fourth sentence, Miss Santos?
Um, the simple form of the verb in the third sentence is a state verb. And when you change it into continuous form, it will now describe an action po. Meanwhile, for the fourth sentence, or the simple form of its verb is also a state verb. But when you change it into continuous form, it will still have a stative meaning po.
Oh, good observation, Miss Santos. May I ask, Miss Tejada, is your observation similar to Miss Santos?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how about you, Miss Santos? Is your observation about the number one and two sentences similar with the observation of Miss Tejada?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, both of you are correct, and both of you are good observers, huh? Now, what I would like you to do this time is to give me your sentences or formulate sentences using the verbs that we used in the previous slide. So what are the verbs that we used in this slide? Washing, needs, thinking, and sounding. Can you repeat what I said, Ms. Tejada? What are the verbs in this slide?
Okay, sir. Washing, needs, thinking, and sounding.
Okay, Ms. Santos, can you read the verbs?
Washing needs thinking and sounding, sir.
Okay, again, formulate your own sentences using those verbs. Okay, I will give you 2 minutes to come up with sentences, and then later I'll ask you to give me your examples. Your 2 minutes start now. Okay, time's up. Now, who'd like to go first and give me her sentence or sentences? Yes, Mr. Hada.
Okay, sir. My first sentence, sir, is Carl is washing the car.
Carl is washing the car. Okay, good example.
And my second sentence, sir, is Stephen needs food.
Ethan needs food. Nice example, Mr. Hada. How about the next one, the third and fourth sentence, or third and fourth item? Any volunteer? Yes, Miss Santos.
For the third sentence, sir, my sentence is I am thinking about my project.
Yes. And for the fourth one?
We are sounding much terrible than before.
We are sounding much terrible than before. Now, Miss Santos, do you think the examples given by Ms. Tejada are correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. How about you, Ms. Tejada? Do you think the examples that were given by Ms. Santos in the number 3 and 4 are correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, correct. Both of your examples are correct. They followed the pattern that we have discussed in the previous slide. Next, moving on. This time, I want you to formulate your own sentences using your own verbs, unlike what we did earlier. In the previous slide, I only tasked you to formulate your sentence, but using the verbs that we used in the previous slides. However, this time, I want you to come up with your own sentences using your own verbs. Okay? So you can use any verb following the pattern in the previous slide. Okay? I will give you 2 minutes again to think of your examples, and then later, just like what we did earlier, I will ask you to give me your sentences. Understood? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Your 2 minutes start now. Okay, time's up. So, who would like to give me her examples first? Yes, Miss Santos.
My sentence, sir, is that boy runs fast.
Okay, next. Who would like to answer the second item? Or who would like to give me another example? Yes, Mr. Hada.
Okay, sir. For the second one is my sentence is Shermaine loves perfume.
Charmaine loves perfume. Okay, nice example. How about for the third one? Yes, Miss Santos.
Um, my mother was tasting the soup.
Okay, nice. How about for the fourth one? Yes, Mr. Hada.
I am lacking in confidence.
I am lacking confidence. Okay, thank you, Mr. Hada. Now, um, yes, you again, Mr. Hada. Do you think the examples on the screen follow the pattern in our previous slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. How about you, Miss Santos? Do you think the examples on the screen follow the previous slide, the pattern?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So for your example number one, the verb is simply an action verb. For your example number two, the verb, which is loves, is simply a state verb. However, for the number three, your verb, its simple form is a state verb, but when it became a continuous form, it will now describe an action. And for your fourth sentence, which I believe the verb is a lacking, although the state verb of this word, which is lack, is a state verb, it becomes a continuous form, which still describes a stative meaning. So yes, all of your examples are all correct. They follow the pattern that we have seen from our previous slides. Well done, Ms. Tejada and Ms. Santos. Your examples are well formulated. Now, thank you for actively participating and listening to our discussion. From your examples, from your participation, I can see that you have really grasped the idea of action and state verbs, the idea of using state verbs in continuous form while still keeping its stative meaning, and the idea of using state verbs in continuous form when it is now describing an action. Well done, my dear students. Again, thank you for listening. I will see you when I see you. Goodbye, my dear students.
Goodbye,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Okay.